What up, Ranger Nation, Toku Nation, and every nation in between? It is me, your boy JB, and we are here with Donbrothers episode 21 review. Can you guys believe that I have stuck with Donbrothers as long as I have? Like I've said plenty of times before, with Super Sentai, I usually drop off before the halfway point. We are getting up there, you guys, and I say it every week like a broken record. Great episode. This was a good episode. This was a good episode because we learned some things that we didn't know previously. I love that we learn something new each week. So let's before we go ahead and get into this, you guys, if you guys are watching the video or any other video on the channel and aren't subscribed, I need you guys to do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, share the video, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's discuss Avataro Sentai's Donbrothers episode 21, shall we? So this episode, this episode was Saru Brothers centric. So we actually the episode opened and we see a movie being played. Now the movie really didn't come back up in the episode until like kind of towards the end of it. So then we see Saru Brother. You guys know how Saru Brother is. He tells his haikus, but you guys also know he is someone that is he's able to use his imagination. I don't know how that works for him, especially when it comes to eating. Him and his weird way of eating. I'm like, how do you satisfy you are imagining that you're eating, but you're not eating, so your body is not getting any nutrients or anything. So I'm kind of confused by that, but hey. So we see him. So he is imagining a beach. Then on that beach, he imagines a cat and he imagines a dog. So after that, we see some kids, they're playing soccer. So they kicked their ball, and when they kicked the ball, it went towards the water. So Saru Brother transformed and he got the ball and he took it back to the kids. Meanwhile, when he transformed, he did it in public. Zordon would have never went for that. Zordon would have never went for that. Never escalate a battle unless Rita forces you. Keep your identities a secret. Zordon would not have been happy about that. So the people that saw him transform, they chloroformed his ass and kidnapped him. So he wakes up and they tell him that he asked them, like, what did you do? What are you doing? Why did you kidnap me? So they were like, why? Stop playing dumb. Give us what you owe us. He's like, what are you talking about? So then the guys that kidnapped him, their boss came in and he was like, that's not him. So then a car comes through. It's a van. The guy opens the van and tells Saru Brother to get in. So after he gets in the van with the guy, they're driving, and the guy tells him that their boss, he told him to get in. After that, the guy tells him that it's a certain family that is after him, and they think that he is, they think that Saru Brother is him. And the reason why they believe that our Saru Brother is that guy is because this guy that picked him up in the van was previously Saru Brother. I was like, oh wow, okay, something we didn't know that there were previous Donbrothers. So you guys, I want to pause here and I want to move forward. So we then see Saru Brother. He's back with the rest of the crew, and he's telling them about this guy, saying that he was once a Donbrother. So Kaido says he was never a Donbrother. He may have had the powers, but he wasn't a Donbrother, because what he must have did was he must have used those powers for his own personal gain. Because when you get those powers, to be officially a Donbrother, you have to fight the Hitotsuki. So obviously this guy didn't fight the Hitotsuki. He did something for his own personal gain, and the powers disappeared. And Kaido also told them that before them, there were 5,000 other Donbrothers. I was like, damn, 5,000 other people wore this costume. 5,000 other people were Oni sisters, Saru brother, Kiji brother, and Inu brother. Now, I don't know why anybody would want to be an Inu brother, because, I mean, Inu brother is a small little pupper. But hey, so then we see, now we haven't saw this guy in quite a few episodes, so you guys know the cop, the one that keeps chasing Inu brother. Well, we see him, he's in the street, and he is in that crazed manic state once again. So there's a guy that's on his phone, and he walks up to the guy. Actually, he didn't walk, I mean, he was behind the guy, and he just starts inhaling, and the guy has been, the guy's been sucked back. And then we realize it's one of the foot soldiers, and then he completely engulfed it. I was like, oh wow. So also at the same time, Murasame, he appeared. It's really interesting, Murasame, because when it sounds as if Murasame is talking to himself, but it says mother. Like, I think I'm confused. That's the only thing that confuses me, is we don't know what Murasame is. But also, is Murasame talking to himself, or is someone actually talking to him? Nonetheless, Jiro shows up. When Jiro shows up, they both, it's a standoff, so they got to battle with each other. So when they were battling, we see Murasame and Jiro. Now, we all know Jiro can transform into past six Rangers. We saw him transform into, MMPR Green. This week's episode, he transformed into, I believe is it Die Ranger? The White Ranger from MMPR. His counterpart was from Die Ranger, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Then we see Murasame. He transformed into the White Ranger from Dino Thunder. Was that Arbor Ranger? You guys got to correct me. I'm not familiar with, I know Sentai, but I'm not that familiar with it. But they transformed into both of them. I was like, wow. I was more so shocked about Murasame. So you guys, I'm going to pause here and I'm going to move forward. So we see Oni's sister. So Oni's sister's at work, and Sanosa came in and basically kidnapped her. So we see our Saru brother, well, actually, no, the previous Saru brother, he's at a restaurant eating. Our current Saru brother, he comes in and he, asks the guy for some food. And once again, it's some imaginary ramen. And he's just sitting there eating, talking about how good it is. I'm like, it's imaginary. You're not really eating food, so what are you getting out of it? Like, I can imagine that I'm eating a big juicy hamburger right now, but I'm not. I'm just biting into the air. You know what? It is what it is. So we do find out from the previous Saru brother that he did use the powers for his own benefit, because he didn't feel any benefit from fighting with the Hitotsuki. So he tells our current Saru brother that he's going to handle the family. So we find out that they're a family of ramen. So then we see Sanosa. So Sanosa is with Oni's sister, and Sanosa is telling her that he read her manga, and he felt something in his chest, and he's up there doing like this. I was like, he is very weird. But she knows who he is. She knows he's a Cerebran, so she's not afraid of him. But if I was her, I mean, God, I know he doesn't know what emotions are, but Jesus, it looks a little crazy. It looks a little crazy and a little creepy that you just do random things. So he tells her that, he wants her to finish the manga. She tells him she's retired. He tells her, too bad, he needs her to do it. So she realizes he doesn't know that I'm part of the Donbrothers. So she uses that, she thinks she can use that to her advantage. And she says, you know what, she'll finish it. So then we see the previous Saru brother. So he went to his old job. And like I said, they own a ramen place. So we find out, when I told you a few minutes ago, that he used the powers for his own benefit. He used the powers to get girls. He used the powers to beat people in, sports. He used the power to cut into lines. He used the powers. Yeah, he got women, cut in line, and it was good at sports. And then with that, he got fired from his job. And he also stole something after he got fired. I was like, well, damn. You just really didn't. You said, forget it. Y'all letting me go? So shit, I ain't got nothing to lose, right? Okay. So I'm going to pause here, you guys, and we're going to wrap up the episode. All right, you guys. So the thing that he stole from his previous employer is a signed autograph from an actor. Now, remember earlier in the episode when I was telling you guys that there was a movie that was playing at the beginning of the episode? Well, turns out that that autograph was from that actor in that movie. So the owner of the place wants his signature, his signed autograph back. So the guy gives him his autograph back. He says he wants their secret sauce recipe. So the guy was like, okay, cool. Here you go. So then we see the Sorrow brothers together. So he opens up the thing. Now the reason why Sorrow brothers like, why come you can't come up with your own recipe? He's too lazy to do so. He wants everything to just come to him like it's nothing. So Sorrow brother. So he opens up the can. He takes the top off the lid off the thing, sticks his finger in, eats it. It's not the correct one. Meanwhile, the guy that he gave the autograph back to, he found out that autograph was a fake. The guy was like, yeah, he was low on some funds at one point, so he sold it. So they were pissed off at each other, and they was ready to rip each other to shreds. And then our Sorrow brother steps in, and he's talking about imagination. They both basically told him to go to hell until he touched their foreheads, because he was talking about he was in the desert and it was so hot. So when he touched their foreheads, they both were in the desert. It was hot. And then he made an imaginary water bottle appear, but it was an actual water bottle there. But the only way that only one of them could get the water bottle. So the guy who was after the autograph, he told the guy, if you let me have the water, we're square. So he took the water and he ran out. So in this same scene, we find out that, the guy wanted to know about Sorrow brother. He wanted to know a lot more about him. So he got so increasingly frustrated and pissed off that he became this week's Hitotsuki. So then we see Sonosa. So Sonosa is with Oni's sister. He's telling her that manga is not good enough. It is contrived. And she was like, what? He's a critic too? So she's pissed off. So then we see Sorrow brother. He's battling with the Hitotsuki. And I think that the thing that I thought was so cool in this scene was, you guys know that typically when the Hitotsuki grows and it goes to the digital world, they follow in a Megazord. But in this episode, it didn't happen. They literally just defeated him on this earthly realm, and I thought it was pretty cool. But overall, it was a good episode. Wasn't one of my favorites, but it was still a good episode nonetheless. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, and share the video, you guys. And until the next time, stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands. Wear a mask, you guys. Socially distance. Be blessed. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.